Hello, sports fans. It's your old pal Handsome at it again. Great win by the Jays. I'm wearing my colors again. I think we played a phenomenal job. Yes, starter was pulled a little early, but I understand they didn't get a chance to stretch out. It was a close game. He's losing. He's up round 75, 80 pitches. So what could you do? I would have maybe left Garcia in for the eighth because his pitch count was real low, and I think could have got one more out of him, but still got it done. I love the pinch running for Kirk early. You got to play aggressive against the New York Yankees. Enough of that. That's not why I'm here tonight. I'm here tonight because this is a concept that's come up to me a lot in life. I have most often been the recipient of it, but in more recent years, I find myself being requested to do this. And that is this whole thing about being whole thing, is if you know what I'm even going to talk about. Maybe you do, because I'll probably put a title on this, so you do. The steal of being someone's friend because you feel bad for them. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm someone who is very interested in ethics. What is the right thing to do? And now, ethics that I believe in might not necessarily correspond to what is in vogue for 2022. I think a lot of political correctness um, gets things wrong. This is why my podcast is called Gimpin' Ain't Easy instead of, disability living is hard when the brackets around the dis. Thank God we got rid of that stuff. I'm more interested in things that are meaningful, at least to me, and those signifiers that often change with the flavor of the month are not important to me, and I think a great distraction from the real problems. But anyway, that's a little tangent off of here. I'm going to tell you about how I first remember sort of being this recipient of this elementary school kid named Shane, who might have been a bit older than me. I can't remember if he was in my grade or not later, but knew all through school. But there's some kind of like, this was an outside of school event, some kind of like, maybe it was like parent teachers or something like that. And I remember like Shane's mom telling him to, I think it was his mom, it might have just been a guardian or something, but telling him to like play with me. And at the time, I didn't really think nothing of it. And he did so, like he was obliged. Very nice. We had a nice afternoon. But you know, for those of you who don't know, I have cerebral palsy and walk with crutches, and many other complications besides the obvious mobility challenges, the startle reflex. And oh, and if anybody's wondering about that startle reflex, it doesn't actually hurt me. Like, so if you make me jump, it's not a problem. The only thing that's when it's bad is if I could, like, if I'm on stairs or walking or something, lose my balance, fall, hurt myself. That's bad from a startle. Or most often, like, if I'm drinking coffee and I spill it. But see, if I don't spill, I just doesn't hurt. Not doesn't hurt at all. It's a mildly unpleasant experience for like half a second. I have no control. It doesn't hurt me. Anyway, so is Shane playing with me kind of thing. I didn't think much of it as a kid, but looking back now, and then another time uh, in junior high, I had been in grade 7 math. I believe I made a 97 or 98 for the year. And often how I did in school was reflected by how much I liked the teacher. So if I didn't like the teacher very much, I'd dip down to like low 80s or occasionally um, in the more senior years of school, 70s, because I really, after once grade 9 hit, I started having emotional problems and I no longer bought into school as something that I believed and wanted to excel in. But yeah, Mr. Muir gave me like a 97, 98. Just, grade seven regular math. I didn't have trouble with any of the concepts. I liked him. We clowned around. And um, he stayed, I only had him in grade seven, but we stayed friendly, all throughout my junior high, and especially in grade nine when I was having emotional problems. I remember the um, resource center head at St. Agnes Junior High, Beth Raymond. I was, I'd started to get suicidal and stuff, and a bunch of teachers and stuff that were kind of closer with me came over. Mr. Muir was one of them. Stuff. They were trying to encourage me and help me, and be there for me and things. And I remember telling this other kid in French class, "Oh yeah, like me and Mr. Muir are like such good friends, and it's awesome. We like joke around." Probably said some things you shouldn't have said to kids, but like buddy guy stuff, right? But whatever, right? We had a laugh. Um, but the kid told me, he said, Mr. Muir's only doing that because he feels bad for you. And I thought about it, and I was like, shit, you know what? This kid's probably right because what you know 50-odd-year-old man is interested in the 12-year-old kid, and then seeing the or 14 at that time, I guess, like as a like good friend. What do we really have in common? And I really internalized that, and that kind of set up my life for a lot of years. Like not with everybody, but I always sort of raised the question, and I've become much more self-assured and confident now. But it's really and I had real and true friends. Going back to the school years, a couple, right? But it's going back to um, even up till like the last 7, 8 years. I think I might have always still had some of that going on. The sense of that like I wasn't really connecting with a lot of people, and I would get close to some folks, and then they would move away, and I would continue to pursue the friendships, but people would just get busy, and I've since learned with getting busy, it's become tremendously harder for me to keep in touch with out of town friends, unless there's like something we're working on together, or not saying I can't do it at all, but it's it's become a challenge to maintain for me. So I understand now those out of town friends just might not have been able to keep up with me from the sheer magnitude of their lives. But even for like in town friends, like I felt a lot of that. I was I was the one often like pursuing the friendship. They didn't seem interested, or like maybe they would because they felt bad for me, or like and then I'd feel kind of very awkward because feeling like I was always pursuing it and stuff like that, but not really knowing fully what to do as one often does, because if you're lonesome, and or you're just looking to connect, right? You have time on your hands or whatever. You're wanting to be friends with people, and people with whom you enjoy the company, you want to spend time together. So I found a lot of that, like I said, up until really the last 7 or 8 years, with some local people here, that I was just uh, and you feel like feelings of shame because like maybe you're bugging them. And people think I get very indignant about being disrespected or insulted or professionally held down, especially. But if somebody doesn't want to be my friend, you know, it may hurt my feelings, depending on how much I value the friendship, and it may well hurt my feelings, but I don't take any issue with that. People are free to be my friend or not, as they so choose. So that's not. I'm not upset with anybody that doesn't want to be my friend. Um, but now, as I as I seem to get more busy and have a full life, and thankfully my friendships have a lot of reciprocity where I mean, unless I'm really missing something, I'm a pretty aware cat. I think most people that are my friends now are my friend because they genuinely enjoy my company. Perhaps they pity me in some ways and are extra generous or something like that, but it's not just a complete pity party where, it's just like someone spends a lot of time with me because they just, um, feel bad for me. So, point being, I have a lot of experience with this, and it's a complicated thing when you're disabled. Now, something that's happened to me in the more recent years is I have found this requested of me more. And I don't know what to do. And because most of the times when I feel that it's been requested of me for me to be someone's friend because I feel bad for them, uh, I I'm not able to do this. I can certainly be cordial and offer a word of encouragement, but I'm not able to spend my time with someone whose company I do not enjoy. Um, and I'm a real unique cat. And I know you can make the argument that everybody's unique. We're all different. No two people are exactly alike. Absolutely. But I think there are trends and norms and stuff like that. And I see a lot of cats that remind me of other folks, right? So like if it just seems like kind of like typical or something like that, I might not be terribly interested. Or if you're not reading books, or you don't have to read books, but have like you know good discussions about things that interest me and stuff like that. Um, not necessarily we're not going to connect, right? Like I'm not going to find the um, what do you call it, the interaction like enriching, and you know and but there's a part of me that goes, well, in the times when people did this for me, uh I didn't have anybody else, right? So even those friends that like were my friend because they felt bad for me, even though you feel a lot of like shame in that, um being the recipient of that, it may be better than being completely and totally alone, right? So like now at this time when I'm stronger, the best that I've ever been in my life, the happiest Sam says actually that I'm one of the happiest people she knows, and I find that such a remarkable turnaround because for many years in different respects, I was one of the most miserable people I knew. Right? And I agree with her assessment of me at this stage of my life. I am also one of the happiest people that I know as well. So I'm not just one of the happiest people she knows. People that she knows are just so miserable that I'm just less miserable than them. No, no, no. I'm actually genuinely happy and one of the happiest people I know too. So is it now my responsibility to give back? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I'm not. I can't. Like I I can offer a word of encouragement. I can give some, but I don't want to. I don't want to spend time like doing things that I'm not interested in doing. Like people ask me to movies or stuff like that. Like I don't like, and I'm really fussy about my movies. I like classic cinema. I just watched a wonderful interview with Dick Cavett did in like about 40 years ago, Billy Wilder, who I thought was like this American guy, but turns out he's from Europe. I think like Germany or Austria, not sure. But brilliant, brilliant guy. Um, I wish more people spoke. I did a, I don't know, was it Freudian slip? Turns out Billy Wilder almost interviewed a young Freud, but young Billy Wilder almost interviewed a Freud, but Freud shooed him away. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. But saying smoke and spoke, Wilder was smoking a big fat stogie the whole time. So it was awesome. So like, you know, um, or like I mentioned this in my one man show and stuff, but my favorite filmmaker of all time is Akira Kurosawa, right? So like I'm not gonna be into watching like I don't know the Da Vinci Code or whatever is the and like I don't like a lot of the things the critics like. Really fussy, and I've spent a lot of screen time anyway, so like that's not going to be fun for me. But what if somebody has nobody else or very few others or whatever? Um, I once did uh, peer support for a couple of years back in the mid late 2000s, like '07 to '09, and I had this cat who came to the group. And this is tricky because peer support, you're kind of being like friends for a job, right? So always a little there's always a little unseemly about it, at least for me, because you know I'm I joined the group to get work, right? I thought I had something to give back at that time, but I had since found that my path, at least that brings me the most fulfillment, is to be working on projects and continually having goals. And, my film, my theater show, my podcast, my stand up, my poetry, etc., etc. Not to toot my own horn, I do it 3 times a day, 4 on Sundays. But um, you know, then to have um, then to like be helping somebody through a you know I'm very happy to help an intimate friend, like going through a rough time and be there for them and stuff like that. But for somebody that I don't know that well, um and that like I can all I can say is like you know try to find things that interest you and build your life around that, and the other things that fall into place or not, like I don't know that you have control over that. Um so like if you don't follow the path of finding things that you're interesting to make yourself well, um I don't know how to help like a random person other than to say that, because then the work is up to the individual. And I know that we have ebbs and peaks and valleys, and that I certainly do. I've lived a life of purpose and passion and still being miserable in the midst of that, whether through insomnia or my urinary dysfunction, or you know not being able to find a partner or have enough friends or things like that. So even with the life of purpose, you can still be unhappy, but it's the only like I don't like I remember somebody I was talking to one time. They were like had all these like advice for specific things, and it was just like no, can't do that for like whatever bullshit reason that they just couldn't get out of their own way. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not talking to this person anymore. Ridiculous. Like you want to shoot down everything that I say that could possibly be a construction. Like and okay, like you don't have to follow my um desires or advice or what nobody well a lot of people don't like unsolicited advice. I understand that, but then okay, then don't tell me about how miserable you are, right? If you're not doing anything to make yourself feel better, then I don't have a lot of patience for you know right. So that's because that's what I had to do. But so sorry, I'm all over the place. So getting back to the peer support thing. So this one cat from and he was a group member and a really nice guy, good guy, but um, definitely felt fell under the mental illness spectrum, which I may even, who knows? I think I have a diagnosis, but I don't care because with cerebral palsy and all the complications, I don't want to be mentally ill because you know if I have any more problems, I won't be able to get out of bed. But I think this guy had a physical disability a little bit, and maybe maybe some cognitive, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, um, like so he wasn't super regular to the group, and he was really wanting to connect. I wasn't interested in connecting outside of like the work environment. And but trying to be appear and give support, like, no, I don't want to hang out, but okay, I'll try to like um, be friendly in messages and stuff like that. But then it would get to like I remember one week it was like 4 or 5 messages in a week, and I wasn't getting back because I'm not feeling it. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. Like, I don't feel connected to you, dude. Like, and and I wasn't sleeping, so I finally like set him straight, said a few things, and noticed a few things just from Facebook that I thought maybe I could improve on. It was probably very out of line for me to say, so I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings if you end up seeing this, but it was just like I just felt bombarded and I felt like this pressure to respond, and I didn't want to connect, right? Like, I didn't want to have these interactions all the time and just not knowing what to say and not feeling connected, right? Like, um, so I probably was harsh unnecessarily, but like, and this is a tricky one because I know that I have done the same thing, right? Where I have reached out to people more than they want it, and I'm sure I've been annoying, and they don't want to tell me to like fuck off or politely leave them alone because that's you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. So eventually, I just have to sort of read the room and give up on the connection. But it's not a problem for me anymore. Life is full. Couldn't be happier. But like, you know, that's my big question for you guys. And maybe think about this for yourself. Like, if like, should I should I be there for like should I have been that guy's friend that I wasn't really interested in connecting with? Um, like, just to be like a good person and be there for somebody who's lonesome. Like, should I have done that? Or was I right in setting a boundary and saying like, hey, like, no, I'm not interested, man. Like, and because I'm not interested, like, it doesn't mean that we're enemies or we have to have a problem. You know what I mean? But I just don't want to, like, or is that too cold and callous? Um, the only thing I can think of where like uh I like might have been a bit different. Like, if I had decided to make a career of this peer support, and like that was going to be my whole life to talk to people and help them out in their jams and be there for them and just sit there and be a source of a rock and all this. If I had chosen that path and I didn't have artistic goals, like if I didn't have other things to work on, maybe I could have done that. Maybe I could have been that rock for people, but with goals and stuff like that and things I want to accomplish. I still have plenty more. I've got another project in the wings. I don't know if it's going to come through. I really hope it does because it'll be a beautiful project. It'll be very meaningful to me, and I'm really looking forward to it. And besides that, I still need to write a memoir. And post COVID, if I'm at all able, I would like to do at one time in my life something of a tour, right? So that's a lot of stuff to do, and you know, and juxtapose that against already, even though I'm not that active anymore, 15 years of stand up, 10 years of poetry, podcast, theater show, film, disability organization work, um, shows, right? And friends that I actually do want to connect with and have like really good friends to connect with now. Like, how could I possibly have the time, right? And so I don't know. What do you guys think? Should all of us like be more open and be there for like somebody who doesn't have anybody, or are we right to set our boundaries and sort of point them in the a direction that we think might be good and try to be helpful, but like just like set that clear boundary and say like, no, like I really don't want to spend time with you. Or is that too mean? Is that do I need to be a better person? I mean, well, we all need to be better persons, but like, am I failing here? Am I missing the point? Am I supposed to be better? Am I supposed to be there for folks that don't have nobody? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. This is a longie. I hope you enjoy. Somehow I managed to keep the plot for 25 and a half minutes. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. Uh, take good care, folks, and I'll be back with the liqueur connoisseur real soon for one that I don't like. And I hope you like this. I hope this provokes some good thought. Okay, ciao.